All right, let's go ahead and get started. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Thanks for tuning in. Elite Way Sage. And we have a lot going on in the market. A lot of happy talk around China. And it's getting futures moving higher. Although I think it's kind of dumb to think that there's people really buying stocks because of that headline. It's more likely shorts being blown up overnight. Again, tried to continue to top tick the market, and they continue to get blown up, and eventually they'll give up. And when they do, that's when the markets will have that big pullback. It's just people just can't help themselves. They just want to top tick so bad, and because they know the market has no business being at these levels. The market has no business being here. We haven't had a really legitimate sell-off since April. We have overstretched valuations fundamentally. We have stocks with zero earnings trading, with multi-billion-dollar market caps. It makes no sense to the fundamental short trader and even the technical short trader, but yet the market keeps going higher as it continues to just blow up that short seller. So the better strategy is to buy the dip in 3 waves when pullbacks happen and not try to guess the top. Okay, that's a better strategy. That way you're not guessing for when the top is, and you're just waiting, and then you get a big sell-off, you get 3 waves, you buy. And you can buy the indices, you can buy stocks, you can do all sorts of things. Just shorting and guessing the top, I think, is kind of foolish right now, as we're in this mania kind of phase, blow-off, top phase of the market. Market overall continues to push higher. Right now, we're still potentially topping out in the weekly cycle, even though it may not look like it. I don't have the futures factored in here. We don't know where the market will open up tomorrow, what news could hit overnight. We do know the economy is getting hit pretty hard with this government shutdown. Slowdown is starting to have pretty big ripple effects in the macroeconomic picture, and you can go online and read the stories that are emerging. So at some point that will become a thing that will drive markets lower. It will affect earnings and unemployment and consumer spending if it continues to go on at the macro level. I don't think the China news is resolved, even though it seems like it is. I wouldn't be surprised for a last minute rug pull on that whole deal. Or they never follow through on their commitments, and then the market realizes it was just happy talk. The other thing out there, of course, is earnings coming in, and earnings will continue, and all it will take is one miss from one of the big cap tech companies, the AI complex, to get the market sell off and really get panic going. So we don't know how it's going to play out, but we're likely to see a pullback on the weekly cycle. The weekly cycle is wide open. The oscillator, you can see it for your own eyes. I'm not making this up. This is hard facts. Is wide open. The momentum is lower despite the higher prices. This is called a hidden bearish divergence in the market. Price is making a new high, but the oscillator is making a lower low. That's hidden divergence. That is telling you the rally we're in right now is built on quicksand. It's a castle built on sand. All it takes is the right catalyst will bring in enough volume, and this gain will evaporate faster than you can hit sell, because the robots will sell, and essentially you'll lose this whole thing probably within the overnight hours at some point. When it does, then we know we're in 2. 2 has support here at 45,000. It's likely to bounce or find some buyer step in. If it fails, the sell-off could accelerate rapidly. And we look for 42,000, 41,200. Again, everyone wants to top tick this market because it doesn't deserve to be here, right? Powell doesn't know what he's doing. Trump doesn't deserve this. You name the reason, and they keep blowing their accounts up. And we really started since July, right? And we were aggressively buying individual stocks, our elite group in this area. And the market has just continued to melt up on the wall of worry, and I guess it continues to climb the wall of worry. Now, the only reason I'm showing this more bearish view is the weekly oscillator breaking down. Once that turns higher, we're going to have to call the low in. And that was it. That was all the dip you got. That's how bullish the market is in this final blow-off phase. If that low is in, that does set you up for the final box, the final target in the grand supercycle advance. And then I may start joining the perma bears again. This is a huge move, though. Look at that range. That gets you to the upper end of this box, potentially. If that's the low. If this is the low. Seems almost impossible to think of it, but you have to think of all possibilities when you trade the market. You can't just think of one possible outcome. Now, why has a potential? We have the 3 waves here. You'd like to see some kind of 3-wave structure here. If we don't get it, we don't get it. But if we would like to see that. If we don't see it, for some reason, the futures meltdown tonight, I don't know, news hits, reverses things, then we would label this as a triple, and we're done, in a connector, boom, and we come down. That's where we are with the market. So that's the updates that I give all my members every day, except for on Friday nights. But I pretty much every day I update our members. I update everybody on the forecast for $5 a month. You get a lot of good information, as well as elite members and pro members get setups that do emerge. We come up with trade ideas. Those ideas usually produce a tradable reaction, and that's what we look for. We never try to guess. We don't trade randomly. We're not a prayer group just hoping for things to work out, buying every dip and praying to the trading gods for the market to rise, and then I beg for your forgiveness when it doesn't. That is not our group. If you're looking for a group like that, you might as well just log off now. If you're looking for an instant pump and instant gratification, I'm definitely not for you as well. Log off now, dislike my video, leave. Okay, I'm not going to be for you. There are groups out there for that type of those goals, if that's what you're looking for. My system requires patience. We don't call the very bottom or top ever. We trade within the 30-yard lines. Okay, that's how we trade, and we're really big on risk management. We're big on money management. We don't care about how much you can make. That's never a question, and I know I get those a lot. But if that's the first thought in your mind as a trader is how much can I make, you're already lost as a trader. Your first thought should be what can I lose, and how much can I lose, not what you can make. If all you worry about is what I'm making and where it can pump to and how rich I'm going to be, I guarantee you the trade will be a loss and the market will rug pull you, because that means everyone's thinking like that. You're not alone, and then the market maker will destroy you. So you cannot think like that. We also have to be bearish and bullish at the same time. We have to be able to look at both sides of the equation, the bullish case and the bearish case simultaneously, right? There's a lot of pro traders, that's what they do. Some people think that's so stupid. You're not committed. You have no conviction. You don't know. That's the dumbest thing. I'm just a perma bull. It goes up forever. I'm a perma bear. It's going to crash any day. No, we trade based on risk. Risk, what's the worst case to the downside and the best case to the upside? And we have to know those paths before we enter any trade. We know and we analyze the market that way. But that bothers some people out there because they're like too much ego. They're not intellectually honest. They're too committed to their own personal bias and views, and they cloud their judgment. And as a trader, you can't do that. You have to be nimble, and you have to be able to trade bullish and bearish at the same time. So that's where we are, guys, in the market overall. Now, Bitcoin's kind of showing an interesting move today, taking out this peak, which, the triangle would have been nice. Now, it could turn into even a bigger triangle. I mean, I was thinking that was possible too. There's always a possibility of a bigger triangle that emerges, right? But we also could be still jammed up in this 2-wave. The reason I don't like to call it a low is it's very 3-wave-ish throughout this advance, not impulsive. So I think I would be not correct in labeling this as the trend is higher. So I still think this is some kind of counter trend consolidation that will resolve lower at some point. And it's just, again, it's blowing up shorts who are trying to short, and it's just kind of chopping everyone up. The best strategy is to just kind of wait and patient. If you get to dump, you have a buy. And if you don't, you don't. You missed the move, you missed the move. We had a buy here a long time ago. We're still long in our basic group from that entry. And we did give this dump target that you would have filled if you had a limit order in. I'm sure somebody that follows me did and got that filled on that big flash crash day. So that also filled and became profitable. So it isn't like we're not long, but I don't want to chase it here. Then this is the middle area. And I always recommend don't trade the middle area, but traders love to trade the middle area for some reason. This is the spot every trader loves to trade the most. For some reason, they don't want to trade down here. They don't want to trade in these dump areas. Then they're not going to want to trade down here too. I know I'm telling you that, and you're like, no way, I'm going to load up here. But I guarantee you, when we get down here, you won't want to load up. No one will want to load up. They will all tell you the end of the cycle is over. They're going to say crypto is done, the 4-year cycle is done, and all that crap's going to come out, and no one will buy it. You watch, no one. You're saying you would buy it now. I guarantee you, when we're down here, most people will not want to buy it. You watch. That's what's going to happen. That's what I think is going to happen. But right now, we're in the middle area. It can go either way. If we can start to advance in more of an impulsive manner, perhaps I will switch my view. The other idea is we're still in the weekly cycle correction off of the one peak here. And as you can see, we're still in the downtrend. We have to break this downtrend. When we break it, then we can maybe with more confidence say the correction's over. But until then, we're just still in the downtrend. We're still in a correction. What could concern you a little bit is the monthly oscillator is starting to roll over. That's signs that maybe there is a bigger move coming to the downside. So we have to also keep our options open, which is why we still use a stop loss here at 79, just in case the monthly oscillator does reassert itself and we do get a bigger flat correction out of this mess. So there we are. That's where it is, and I'll give more updates to people that are members, of course. Let's get into your questions and see where the market is for the questions that you guys have. Now that I've got some people to join us, let's just jump in. I always go to the top, and I try to do these early so we can move through this. So thanks for getting your super chats in early, so I can go ahead and already have a lot of this material prepared for the most part. So we have this SM Energy. Anytime you see a lower low like this, where you have a move down and you bounce to correct that move, and then the bounce fails, it creates what we call lower low, and those usually create another low. So that's what I'm showing here. I really don't want to show a more bullish view. Now, to negate this, you need to take out 51. It does not look like that. It looks like you may probably make a 5, and then another big rally here and 2, and then more of a meltdown. Our forecast for oil is still bearish, and that's probably what's showing here. Devon Energy is jammed up here. There was possibility for a little more upside, but I think it's too elegant. When I look at the downtrend line, it got rejected right on the downtrend line, right when it completed this move. When I labeled it, it looks pretty much finished to me. Looks like we're down in 3 and another connector, which could rise back up to 35. But I would expect it now to resolve lower and to kind of this down phase. Taking out 37.40 would be significant because this move corrected this whole leg, and then that can get you to that higher target potentially. But I wouldn't get your hopes up for it. The market's going to have to prove itself by taking that level out. Until it does that, I think it's better to have your expectations tempered and not be sad when this move eventually does happen. And again, why do we think that? We have a lower low. We completed a cycle, then we bounced, and then it failed. That's why we think it will resolve lower. Prop is another one that probably has got a little more downside. This one's a little trickier because this connector here technically could be done in C this right now. So there is a possibility C is done and the whole correction is over here. I just don't like, if you look at how long that A is compared to this C, it doesn't look very, it doesn't look complete, it looks incomplete. When you look at the RSI though, it does show a bottoming out phase. I would watch this trend line closely, right around from here to here. If that trend line breaks, yep, I got it right, then I would say the low is in. So this one's tough. It could be bottomed here. It could be. I suspect you need to be just careful that you don't get another wave lower. So we just don't have enough data to make that determination. But it is, look, it has gone pretty much uncorrected from this peak, and it's probably due for a bigger bounce pretty soon. Could it stretch a little further down? Maybe. I'm showing this, but it can easily be finished, and once it's finished its correction, then it would obviously bounce pretty significantly. Okay, that's that one. Natural gas, NAT, natural. I assume that's what you want is natural gas. Let me just double check. I'm going to assume you want natural gas. If you don't want natural gas, you can put in the comments and I'll go back to it. But natural gas, like I said, my system doesn't work that well, but typically natural gas is bearish when oil continues lower, but it lags oil. Now we are going into the winter, so traders will buy that up a little bit, but I'm looking at a connector with a lower low, so this is looking like another three-wave move down. It should turn into another impulse. So I think there's a couple possible ways to label this. You could have a 1, 2 down and another 1, 2 down, or we're still in 2 and we come up a little bit more and then we drop. So it has a couple possible paths that I can see here, and you'll just have to decide. I don't particularly want to trade this. But with oil continuing lower long term or mid-term, now short term oil can rally more, but mid-term it should fail. Long term, as you know, long term it's going to have a huge run later in several years from now. But right now, I think you got to be careful with natural gas, okay? But I can't rule out a more upside while oil starts to try to reemerge again as a trade. And it's really just, I think more or less traders are bored. It's a group that hasn't really moved, and people are starting to move into it as, hey, well, it's the only thing left to buy that really hasn't pumped yet, so let's go into energy. I think that's what's going on there a little bit. All right, next is DLR. DLR is also showing signs of a fifth wave here, but it should continue higher for a little bit more. I think you still have a push higher coming here. I do think this continues higher. Now we are only showing 3 waves up, so there is always a possibility for a bigger flat back down. I wouldn't be afraid of the flat or try to guess a flat, or you'll never buy anything. If you're always worried about a flat, you'll never buy when you need to buy. So you just have to just trade it without that worry, but with that understanding it could happen still. But I think this is kind of where we are going with it, higher. Pretty easy. Shopify should be making a final peak and then a bigger pullback in 4. That's probably with that bigger market pullback. It's going to be similar in nature to what we saw back here, a similar type of correction, more than likely back to 130 and 140, and then you should get another peak, right? And then you've got a 1, 2. This could be 3, 4, 5, or it could be 1, 2, 1, 2, which is probably what it will turn into. And then this peak will probably produce a nasty sell-off. Not as bad as this one, but pretty bad. Okay, pretty bad. So if this plays out, the easy money's over. If you bought it here, you probably will make nothing for the next year or two in the sideways to lower market as it consolidates these gains, pulls back, and then at some point reemerges. Now, of course, we never try to time the market in our channel. This is the most likely path, but there is other paths, right? We could also be in a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then just moon, right? So that is still not negated, but it's unlikely. So this is the more likely path. This is the more conventional path, the more classical way the market should move, and we'll just label it this way. I would say I would not recommend trying to time the market, time the top. That's what the shorts are doing now, and they just continue to get blown up. That's what the AMD shorts did on Friday and got blown up on Thursday and got blown up. You just don't know. The market can continue to extend. As long as there's people willing to buy and shorts willing to top tick, the market will just keep taking that money from you. and from both sides, the bulls that want to buy and FOMO, and the shorts who are willing to give up their money. So you just, until there's no more energy, no more interest in buying and shorting, the market won't peak. Eventually it's got to peak like a baseball pop fly. Eventually hits, and you hit the top of the apex of the pop fly. There's no energy. It's just kind of floats there. That's where we got no bid, no short, no buy, and then it will just drop. That's kind of what's happening. But right now, people just can't help themselves shorting. I'm still seeing on the internet people like, I'm shorting on open. This is the dumbest thing I've seen with the trade deal. I'm shorting. And that tells me we're probably still going to continue to blow these people up. And I'm starting to see the perma bull community come back. There are people from April that were posting pre-April crash, perma bulls constantly posting shit and like, look at this, look at me, look at this, flex, flex, flex. And I hadn't heard from those accounts. I thought those accounts got blown up because I hadn't heard from them since April. I thought one person particular, I hadn't seen any posts. I was like, damn, this dude must have blown up his whole account. But guess what? It's reemerged. It's reemerged. So that tells me we're getting close to the top two. We're getting close from a bull. Bulls are getting too cocky again now. And now we have the bears, I think, still trying the top tick, but I think they're ready to give up too. So we're getting back to almost that perfect conditions like we had pre-April crash. But we're not quite there yet in the market. But yeah, I think based on what I'm seeing, I'm starting to see the bullish flex type posts. And that was what we saw, I think, around February timeframe. A lot of that shit in February was coming out. And we were, and it was like, yeah, I was like, this is probably getting close to a top. Anytime somebody needs to post stuff like that, like in your face, you're wrong, one side of the market is stupid and I'm smart, that's almost a signal that the top is almost in or the bottom. When one side has to do that, when someone feels so compelled to be like, I'm so smart, look at what I did and you're so stupid. When you see a lot of those kind of posts, that's usually around the top, and I'm starting to see that from the perma bull community, and that I hadn't seen in a while. Here we go. So Nokia, this could be a 1-2, 1-2, but since it's in three waves, I'm gonna go with this view for now. Now there's other ways to label this. There's other ways to label this. I could label it a flat from this peak, A, B, and then C, in some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we don't have a lot of room left. So I'm labeling it this way, but as you know, there's no guarantee for a fifth wave. This isn't guaranteed. When you get three waves, Elliott wave theory only says corrective balance is in three waves. Once that is done, you can resume the trend, which is lower. So I'm showing this because I suspect it's probably trying to come off of a major low, but I can't guarantee it. It does have a higher high on the shorter cycle, so we should still push higher. So it's going to challenge this peak. If you're a bull, you want to break it. You break that peak, then you have your 5 swings, no matter your subdivisions, and then things are looking better. But then you have to watch this big rug pull later, okay? BA, also, we've had this chart. It looks like potentially this X is in now. I wanted to see it tag 259, but it didn't quite get there. Looks like 5 waves down. Looks like we're in a 2, and we would continue lower. I'm not sure if the government shutdown affects these guys at all in defense spending or who knows what, but maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. This is the chart I'm showing. We can negate this, I think, by taking out 245.76. So if we can take that out, then we have to flip to a more bullish forecast. But until then, I'm not changing my view. I've had this view pretty much since I started my channel. We pretty much have been, basically this has been dead money. I started my channel in 21, late 21, so right around this time period. It's pretty much been dead money. Literally, if you would have bought it the day I started my channel, you would still have the same amount of money. Yet the market, good Lord, has moved a lot higher. So the thing is, this I don't understand, again, the investor interest in something like this. Why would anyone want to trade the middle area? But everyone is so fascinated by the middle area, Bowen. And I'm not picking on anyone that's asking about it. I'm just saying, I hear this on TV. I see this all over the internet. People are so fascinated. Every time, traders love to trade the middle area, but yet this is the worst possible thing to ever trade right now. Look at this thing. Imagine if it does this. Again, I don't understand the love for the middle area, but man, traders love to trade it. And it has been dead money. Dead money. And if this plays out, it would be a sad for the buy and hold investor, because they'll eventually capitulate. But don't worry, my members will be there to buy that from you and give you liquidity to leave your position. We'll be ready. HIMS is in an interesting spot, guys. HIMS, you have a flat. That flat needs to end here. Okay, this bounce is too significant. If it doesn't, it's going to take another leg lower, right? This would become 1, 2. Then it goes deeper. You're likely to break this low, and it kind of destroys the bullish setup. So this is it. It's do or die for this stock. 46.14. It hit our box. I gave this box to our elite members. Anyone who took it is already profitable. It was a zero risk trade if you're an elite member. And now you just got to let the market decide. If all the happy news is going to be bullish on Monday, hopefully this will participate in that rally, and it gives you more gains. I think it wants to break out. When you really look at this and zoom out, it looks like this is just a big consolidation, and at some point you will break out of this. It's just tough to trade the shorter cycle as it develops. And again, it's middle area, but I give this to members because people still want to trade, and I still show setups. It's a riskier play, of course, very risky, because it can easily break this low and come back down to this trend line down here at 34. But the reward could be a breakout. So you guys can decide, and I have it as 5. So that's the count we're playing with right now. USAR is another one. Rare earth stock. Now USAR is interesting. Is it still on a wave 4 or not is the question. And it's pretty deep. It's pretty deep for a 4. Now, if we look at it, we're obviously correcting this cycle right here, but we haven't broke this low, so we're not correcting a larger cycle. Okay. Now, if we go to the daily cycle, it's the same thing, and you see we're still there. So you would still call this a 4. It's a deep 4, but I would still call it a 4. So I would still call it a 4, but it could easily turn into another 1-2. So this could be a 1-2. This could be a 1-2. So it can go either way. Now, if it goes any deeper, then it's something completely different. Okay, more than likely, we'd have to go with something very unorthodox. It does look like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 maybe, and then we come back down to 12, down to here. I don't think so. Like it just doesn't seem. It doesn't seem likely when you look at the wave structure. Okay, it just looks to me like it needs at least one more high. Now, China news. What is that going to do with rare earths? Well, now I guess rare earths are going to be flowing from everywhere. China is going to open up the spigot, and it's happy days again. So you would think this thing is going to go down tomorrow. That's what I would think. We'll see. Now, it would be interesting if it doesn't, because that's usually when stocks rise on bad news, that usually marks significant lows. So we don't know. I think it's bad news for this company, but then again, if it rises on bad news, hey, then that tells you all you need to know. If it falls, then it's something more bearish, right? And it really messes up our chart a lot, and I would need to spend more time studying it, and then it wouldn't be a 4 anymore. Obviously, it'd probably be some kind of bigger 1 here and a bigger 2 wave down to this area again. IREN is also putting in a 4 here. Now it depends what degree of correction we're in. We have a 1, 2. Let me see here. Sorry about that. Here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this could be a 1, 2, 1, 2, and it could just continue to go vertical and blow up short traders. It could do that, but it could do the more conventional, more typical correction, which I have here. This is what I have here, and this would be the more typical, where again the easy money is over. There's still good money to be made in it, but all that easy money people want it is over. Again, elite members we were following this down here at 16. And then, but it still could go higher. I mean, I think it could probably get to probably $100, probably like $100 at some point. And then when that 5's in, I mean, the correction could last years after that. That could be, then it's got to earn its valuation, right? It's got to earn its valuation. But right now, I think it continues higher. It looks like it continues higher, okay? Qubits also is in a 4 that ended and gave this danger area for reversal. You did get it. You actually got it here first, and then you made that final 5th wave, and then you got a huge sell-off. I think you're trying to make one more high, and then that's it. I don't have any more waves I can label. So you have to expect a massive correction at that point, right? Now, what if it's another 1-2 like it was here? It can be. And guess what? It goes even more vertical. So if you're trying to time the market, or I'm so smart, I'm going to short it at 50. I'm going to short it at 50. You're going to probably get blown up like the guys got blown up down here trying to short it. And again, these boxes, elite members had these boxes, right? So they had these boxes making money. Now this box in the sell zone, boom, big rejection. Now one more high, maybe we get to 50, and then it may never come back. We may never see it at this price again for years after. You know what I'm saying? This is 5. It's over. Like the whole thing is over. The whole cycle is over. So this correction, I show it like this, it could last years. It may never come back to this level for a long time. Okay, I'm just trying to manage your expectations at some point, right? The only hope you have is another extension, another 1-2, and we just don't know. We didn't know it would do that here, and it did it. It just keeps extending, but at some point the party has to come to an end. People will just stop buying it. SCWO, looking like, I look at this, we had our buy here, looks like 3 waves down. So this is in that middle area. I still think we could get another high, but we need to hold this level at 35.5 cents. If it can't hold that, then the bullish setup's lost. This B wave is in, and it's going to collapse in an epic manner. So I'm going to show it labeled this way, but if I had a bearish view, I would just label it this way. So it's really this is a chart I don't trade. Like I don't usually trade stocks like this. It also has a lower low, which is why we know it will fail. Okay, so anytime I see a move down, a reaction, and then that fails with a lower low, I just throw those charts away in the garbage. There's not even worth trading because you end up in a situation like you're in now. It's just a coin flip. It's like, is it going to do this pump? Is it going to collapse? Flip your coin, go to the lottery, scratch off ticket, and see if you're going to get which. And that's why I don't trade these stocks. But again, for some reason, traders love to trade these. What you need to do, if you really want to trade penny stocks, you need to find stocks that don't make the lower low. Find stocks that hold this low, that come down, break out, come back, and hold the low and go higher. Find those. You're going to make a lot more money. You find the ones that do this, you're going to end up losing a lot of money. That's just my advice. But for some reason, a lot of people love the lower low. Just when you see the lower low, guys, just take my advice. Just throw the chart away. Who cares what it is? Oh, it's a precious stock. It's the one I've been following for years, or oh, my pump group recommends it. F them. F your pump group. Just throw this chart away. Tell them to go F off. You're not going to trade. You're not going to get my money. You're not stealing my money. Tell them this is not what you want. You don't want a chart like this because now you're 50-50 here. You can buy it here and it could pump to 160. It really could do that. Okay. But it can easily fail and you can blow up your whole account. Binary move, huge losses, huge gains. I don't trade charts like that because you can't establish the risk. Okay, EONR, this is a good one. We hit the target, literally coming out, 5 waves, 1-2, 1-2. We'll leave it at that. If it's a flat, it comes down maybe a little bit more to 38.39, and then we should go higher. AIR is another one. I believe this is another lower low. Yep, so we came down, we reacted, it failed. So we don't trade it. We just throw the chart away. But if you can't help yourself, you want to trade it, It only shows 3, and this was a pretty big push down. I don't know why we would think it would come back. There's probably no reason to think that. I would expect a continuation lower. DVLT is a little different. DVLT, you have the full decline. Now you have the first cycle. We haven't got the lower low yet, right? So we're still in the advance. And what's most important is you made a pullback and made a higher high. So this one looks better. This one's looks really good compared to all the other ones I've looked at tonight. And then this could continue to go. This could be ready for a big breakout. This could be a 1-2, 1-2, 3 of 3. QSAI is tricky because it's jammed up in the middle area. We had a lower low here in this counter trend rally that failed exactly where we thought. Now I'd like to see another push down in 3 waves. So as long as we're below 316, I'd expect more downside. Breaking this low eventually, if we can take that out, then I believe we're going to continue to extend in the connector. And then maybe we could go more bullish on the interpretation of the chart. But again, that's a pretty big rejection. It's a very 3-wave-ish. This is very much 5-wave-ish. It is what it is. NUAI, that one's a little more bullish. This one's trickier. I think we could be in a flat. We never got to the 4 area, which typically you do. The flat may get us back down there. If we do, it does look like we made a higher high here, so we should see another swing higher. If this doesn't happen, then the 2's already in, and it's going to just launch this week. So it could launch this week. It's just I think we got to be careful of the flat as of now. But I think I'm a little torn of calling the low in or not. I think I don't know if it went deep enough. REKOR systems should make one more high here, and then again it's probably done. It's push higher. This one had made a lower low here, so you had this decline, advance, and another down. So it's likely to fail. And this is kind of the chart. Big connector wave, failure. SBET also looks like, to me, I'd like to see one more low, but we did tag the box, so we could be in a different instead of an ABC, we could be in a 3-wave move, a WXY, and build a new connector, and an A, B, C, and come up to 22. So this one is tough. If Bitcoin's going to rally hard, this is an Ethereum. This is likely going to not make the 5, and it's going to just find a low here at our box, which we had, and then we'll be in a bigger connector with a lower low that will eventually fail down at some point, probably around $20, $22. If not, we could finish the whole correction and find a real low, a solid low here. That's what we're looking for, okay? And then we can maybe bottom. Core weave, again, if I label it as a flat, I'd like to see one more push down, but bigger picture is very erratic, a very irregular bottom-in process here. It's a very unorthodox. Here you have a weird looking connector, right? And then even this wave is very unusual, this 3-wave move. Here, the RSI is supporting this, so we're labeling it this way, but this looks really strange, and I wouldn't be shocked if this ends up doing something like this and goes like that, and we drop down to 40.50. So this is super high risk, but there is some reward to it. I don't particularly want to trade it. My gut tells me we will break out. I don't think we're going to go down there. I think we're going to play out something like this, and this is what I'm looking for. If we find the low here, then it's just the one was here, and then we're breaking out. Okay. The good thing is we have nice 5 waves up, so we're likely to take this peak out. Whatever is happening here, we will likely take this peak out at some point in the future. It's just we need to let this play out a little bit more. The bottom-in process here is very unorthodox and compared to what I usually see, which is why I'm worried this is a big connector of some sort. But that's kind of where I'm looking at. Okay. Okay. So natural gas, yeah, Nordic American tanker. All right. Northern American tanker. Northern American tanker. Let's take a look at that real quick for you. Go back to that. Just wasn't sure. So you guys got natural gas if you wanted to hear it from me. You guys got that. Nordic American tanker. And I'm not seeing it here. Let's go into this. There it is. Nat. All right. All right. So this has been our wave count. Let's take a look at where we are. So it looks like it's been playing out pretty much according to plan. That's probably the 4 right there. Probably in the 5 right now. Let's take a look. Daily cycle. All right. Yeah, it's probably just finishing up. That divergence is probably your 5 right now, and it could be in 5 of 5. So at any moment, any second. It could end at any moment. Any moment. And that would be a correction. The trend is higher. It should find support around 295 and then continue the trend higher. Okay. If you're lucky, it accelerates and tomorrow races divergence, but you need to be careful for a pullback. But it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like 5 of 5 right now. That's what it looks like to me here. I'm sorry. We're moving in 3 waves, so it'd be, let me just go back, backtrack here. A, B, C. So yeah, actually a little bit more upside with that second swing higher. Because you would have A, B, 1, 2, 3. So yeah, a little bit higher. So we should go a little bit higher. And something like this, should do something like that. This is what I'm thinking. Something like that. All right. I just kind of want to cover that. Okay, let's go back to our stocks real quick. All right, so we covered a bunch already. I had a question. Can you check on these micro small caps? Looking at, and I went through a bunch of those. I already went through those. Just kind of catching up on the comments and where I'm at. A lot of small caps. Again, if you're looking for small caps and you're looking for penny stocks, you've got to find ones that don't make a lower low. Okay, your odds change dramatically in your favor when you don't see that. When you see the lower low, you're already, shooting yourself in the leg. You should just throw that chart away. Just, you see the lower low, throw it away. Just like, do not waste your time with it. I know all it is devil's fruit. It's like Satan tempting you to bite the poison apple. And you will bite it as a trader because you'll see it start to rise and then you'll lose all your money at some point in it. That's what happens. And guys, and the pump groups love to push those and all that stuff. You need to just throw that away. Throw those charts away. Find the ones without lower lows. Here, no lower low here, right? This didn't come down and break the low like that. You see that? Do you see what I'm saying? This is a chart you want to find charts that don't make the lower low, right? We come all the way down, and once it resets the cycle, it continues higher even if it pulls back. It doesn't just drop and break the low. Once you see that, dump it. Throw it away. It's not something you want to trade, in my opinion. Okay, let's keep going. We were at Ferrari. This one was not an easy chart. Ferrari wasn't an easy chart to do. Oh yeah, before I get that, I had another super chat question. Before this, I'll get to Ferrari in a minute. Question is the bearish possibility for the S&P still in play down to 560 or a smaller dip to 640? The 560 I think is not likely, but I can't say it's not in play because the thing about this dip. And it won't be more of a dip, be a correction, or hell, maybe something even more than that because we're so far off the lows. But whenever this too finishes, if it finishes here at 45,000, there is going to be no SPY 560 will be a laugh we will be laughing like, yeah, that'll never happen. Now, if this breaks and we could close below it and we get that waterfall down here, I think it's possible. I think it's possible, but they don't, they don't kind of correlate one to one. The SPY, would have to come back down to here. Would it drop as much? They're two different indexes. You would need to see a double correction from here. And even if you saw the double correction from here, let's just say we top here and we double correct down. Yeah, it's 582, 570. So that gets you to like 570. 560, that's pushing it. So maybe 580 would be the most extreme I could see, but that would be this kind of move, what I have here. This kind of move. If it's not, if it's this, then there ain't no, that's not happening. So I think you just have to stay nimble and just manage your risk. And that's why I tell all my members, don't be so cavalier to buy these dips right now in where we are on the grand super cycle. Like, you don't want to put your whole stack of chips in right here, right? You want, sure, buy the dip. Go, do it, because you may get a good reaction, tradable scalp, or the low. But if this breaks, right, it's likely to come back and back test, and then it will collapse. So it should collapse. Okay, if you went in cavalier and bought it, you blew up your account. Now, what if you do it down here? Oh gosh, this is a once in a lifetime. It's like April all over again, right? That's what all the traders are going to think. It's like April all over again. I'm mortgaging my house and everything to buy stocks right here. Well, guess what? The ground super cycle could reemerge and reassert itself. And what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do, guys, if the grand super cycle comes in and we bounce a little bit, and then you're just annihilated, and the grand super cycle ends, and we open down here. We're here and we actually open down here. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? So we're at the end of the cycle. We're getting close to the end of the grand super cycle, okay? I don't have it over yet. Some people have this 5 done now. I think it extends a little bit more, which is kind of what we're starting to see develop right now. Now, I'm still not predicting a complete straight up melt up yet. I could change my mind on that, but not yet. So you got to be careful buying the dip. Right? You can't be so cavalier, right? The market's now conditioned you to be cavalier because of what happened in April. It's now given people an idea that, hey, this is easy, right? And the day this grand super cycle ends, buying the dip is what will blow up accounts. Not losing money from here. It's going to be coming in with a lot of money on the sidelines and losing all that money. That's where people are going to really feel the pain. And I can't say 100% certain that the grand super cycle there is a possibility it could be over. I don't think it is though. I just don't think it is. Okay. And again, guys, if you're not following me, you don't understand what I'm saying. This is the historic chart of the Dow Jones. And I can show this to my 9-year-old kid and I could say, where should I buy? And he would probably circle somewhere down here. Where should I sell? Somewhere up here. You don't have to be a genius, a Mensa. You don't need to be a smart person to know, where's the point of maximum financial ruin? Right around here. Where's the point of maximum financial opportunity? Right around here. Is it here? Probably not. Oh, it can go up a little bit more. Okay, who cares? But this is the maximum financial risk, right? This is where you're taking the most risk for that little bit more. Is it worth it? Or you do what Warren Buffett does, just park it all on the sidelines and wait patiently, even you have to wait years, and then you'll get the setup, and then you can come in. So this is where we are. So if we pull back to 41.2, somewhere around here, we test this parabola again, I think we bounce again. But even more, I guess, as vertical as we've gone in here, right? It should do that. And then end. If we don't, and we break it, it's over. The bubble's over. It's done. It popped. The bubble's popped. And I don't know what that means. The leverage will collapse. There's so much leverage in the system I mean, you saw what happened to crypto. Can you imagine in equities, all the leverage, all the triple bull ETFs, all being blown up, the VIX trying to, probably rise 400 or 500% in 24. I mean, these are the things that will happen. So if you're cavalier and you buy the dip here, you're taking a maximum amount of financial risk, even though you may get a little more upside. You may get a little more. Because guys, it's not going to do this forever, and it's not going to do that. You're at the end. You're not at the beginning. I mean, it's obvious to your own eyes, right? I know people don't want to hear this. They want to hear happy talk. Oh, the markets just go up forever. They don't go up forever. Every parabola that has ever advanced that looks like this, whether it's a penny stock, right, or you name it, or Enron or whatever, you pick your stock that went up, like all collapse, South Sea bubble, they all collapse. They never go up forever. Japan in the 1980s, even that collapsed at some point, right? The Nikkei had this impressive look. They're probably saying the same thing right now. Right now. Oh my gosh, this is the greatest buy. And then look what happened. Look what happened. Guys, this is going to be the Dow. This is going to be the Dow Jones in the future at some point. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Because the guys in Japan probably said the same thing. Oh, it's just going to go up forever. It's just going to go up forever. Forever. It never does. Show me a chart in history that's just gone straight up and anytime you have a parabolic move, you always have a collapse. It's like night is today. So the Dow Jones and the indices will have its collapse. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. But every time we pull back, there's always a test. So you just got to understand that test is coming soon on the weekly cycle. I can't guarantee a V bottom, but I'd like to see it. Okay, I'd like to see it, but I can't guarantee it. Okay, I can't guarantee it. But we will wait and trade what the market gives us. So we'll wait and see. But that's kind of where it is. Okay, and I know life is unfair for those of you who are younger that just started trading and you missed all these gains, but don't worry, the market will give you opportunities, and you'll be able to, as long as you preserve your capital, you'll have opportunities again that maybe a lot of people didn't have. All right, let's keep going with the questions. We already covered core wave. Again, I don't like asking about how high things can go. I don't care about how high could, because then it takes you away from focusing on risk. So you saw the risk. It could go to 45. Okay? So if you're willing to take that risk and have it go to 45 or 50, then you can worry about how much you can make. So let's say if you're cool with that risk is worth it. The gain is somewhere around, let's see, we have to go to 0. So somewhere around, 360, 340. So is that worth it? I don't know. You have to decide if that's worth it to you. So I think 340, 350 is the gain. The risk is 50. And then, of course, the gain won't be as large anymore, right? The gain won't be as large. If that's the case, then the gain, again, I'm just doing this real quick here. It would be somewhere around 300. So you can decide. Now let's go back. Now we're back to Ferrari. Okay, Ferrari was a tough chart to label, but I think I'm going to go with this count. I'm looking for a 4. This 4 took a little bit of time, almost like a year. Like it looks like about a year. January 21. Yeah, a little over a year and a half. So this 4 could do a lot of things. I think we're starting a 4. My guess is something like this could develop like that, or something more bearish, right, like this. So it has a couple paths. It does look like it's going to get a relief rally though. VTS should be going into this box soon in a connector wave, and then here's our box. We're looking for a 1 2 1 2 and then coming out. We have a higher high here, and that looks good. ASST, again, we're in a box. It's already bounced, so this may already found the low. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the low here. It's already bouncing. And like I show you here, same setup. You're going to bounce, and either that bounce is going to fail, and that's it, or you're going to pull back a little and then rock it out. So I can't, no one can predict how it's going to play out, but we should continue a little bit higher, at least up to this area of 395, and then at some point the market's just going to have to decide where it wants to go. There's no higher high. It's completely in the middle area. We should be reacting. So once this reaction does finish, then we'll know, right? We'll know. So I think you just have to keep an open mind on that. Blackberry, I think we have another high. This looks like some kind of triangle. If that's the case, we should make one more swing higher and then fail. So I think this looks like a triangle to me. And once this finishes up, and in fact, it may have already finished here, right there. It may already be finished. It may already start its leg higher. So let's let that play out. But again, let me see if this one has a lower low or it's in. Yeah, see, we broke that low, lower low. So again, we came down, we up, we had lower low. So we don't want to trade it. But I think you're going to get another push higher because of the way this looks right now. Honeywell, looking like it's getting close to a major peak. This is very typical of an ending diagonal look. Abe, this is what we're seeing here. Maybe one more push higher to 250. I could be off by a swing, but you're pretty much at the end of the line here. And then, of course, it would pull back down to 86, 100 over a period of maybe a year or two. So it looks like this count to me because we have the peak. There's your 3 of 3. There's your 4. And look at all this bearish divergence. This is ready to just puke all the way down the monthly. The oscillator is already wide open to the downside. So it just needs the right catalyst and it's going to collapse. Okay. So it's pretty much at the end, right? And this is typically how a fifth wave looks at the end. LAES is another one that we've been watching. So this is again in the middle area. So we got this 3-wave move. This Y can be finished here, which means X is finished, and then it could just collapse. But the thing is, it can also extend, right? This can extend and become a bigger Y. WXY. Hold on here. So something like this. So where is it going to go? I don't know. And it's 50-50, which is why I don't trade stocks 50-50, right? So I wouldn't trade it, but it seems like it's trying to accelerate higher. So I'm leaning bullish. So I think I wouldn't be surprised to see it continue to extend higher, looking at where we are right now. So as long as we're above this low at $5, I would expect more upside. But I can't guarantee it, and you totally are trading the middle area. Now, if you can take this peak out, then you have a lot more confidence you're going higher. Cliffs needs one more high to finish this fifth wave. Now, if we don't get the fifth wave, we only have 3-wave bounce. 3-wave bounce is corrective, and then this has to hold, all right? Or you'll get your own lower low, or it will collapse and go to $1 or less, or go essentially bankrupt type. So it's got to hold. It's called the concept backing into a low, unless you believe it's going to go bankrupt, unless there's some kind of economic, recession, depression coming that we don't know about. It looks like to me we should find a 5. It needs to happen though, like the next week or two. Once we make the 5, of course there'll be a pullback, right? There should be a bigger pullback, but then you pretty much have the confidence the lows in, right? So let's just let it play out. BBD, also looking at a 5 here. Now here we have a 1, 2, a higher high. So either the 5 is finished and 1 is here, we're going to do a big flat, or we're about to push higher in 3 of 5. And this could even become a 1, 2 here. So it's the same thing. And again, bigger picture, right? Bigger picture, you have a lower low. So we don't want to trade it, right? A low, this low broke here, this low broke that low. So it's likely when this finishes somewhere around this area, it's going to collapse. So again, I just throw these charts away. But I guess, there's always people out there that want to trade it. But I think it's still more upside, likely to continue. But at some point, there'll be a big rug pull. Veil looks like 5 waves up to me from here. I can't rule out an extension though. We have seen these go from 1-2, 1-2s, but if it's a 5-wave move, it's kind of topping out, and we would see a bigger pullback, maybe back down to $10, and of course continue higher. PBR is like energy. It looks like it's in a flat off of this peak. That means this has to be the low at 1144. If it's not, and it may not be, so if we break 1144, then we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a retest of these lows, likely to hold. So tough to say. It seems like, to me, I'm torn. I think if oil prices are going to continue to fall, this is likely to fall with it. So I think you should manage your expectations accordingly. But I think this is the most important level. It really needs to hold this 1034 level. Okay, MLGO pushing lower. MLGO pushing lower, and we should see this continue lower. And again, let's take a look here. We have a move down, a reaction, and a lower low. So again, we just throw this chart away, but I think it could continue a little bit lower. And then maybe you can complete the final leg, and maybe it can find the low if it still exists by then. Mayo, I was looking at this for elite members. I think we're going to go with a triangle here for now, which means this is the low of 4 for one more push higher in 5, and then another big pullback. The more bullish count is it's some kind of 4 is here, I think right here, and you have like a 1, 2, 1, 2. So one or the other. Now, if we break this, let's say we break that, well, then we only have 3 waves. That would be corrective. And then this would continue and would be likely breaking the low, breaking this low. So we really need that 5th wave. Okay. CGTX is another one in the middle area that I don't recommend trading, but looks like we have 3 waves down, and we have 3 waves up, 3 waves down, 3 waves up. Literally in the point of indecision, maximum indecision. It is completely a roulette wheel spin here, red or black. Pick your number. I couldn't tell you. We did not hit our target, so this box is not valid anymore. If we break this low, it's likely to probably break 126 and double correct down, back down to 20 cents. If we can break this high, the opposite will likely happen, and we'll likely hit these top areas here. So I think it's better to wait, see which pivot breaks. Are we going to break higher? Are we going to break lower? And then expect the move. ARDX also looks like here. Let's take a look at where we're at. So this one we have 5 off the low, 1, 2, 5 off the low, 1, 2. Should continue higher. We don't want to see a little. I mean, it's possible we get a little more downside in this shallow connector, but I'd like to see at least another wave higher breaking this high. MSOS we've given to elite members. This box hit. Anyone who bought that, 0 risk. Now we need to hold. If this box breaks, of course, it will under a bigger corrective structure off of this high. We would have to label this as a W, some kind of X here, and then Y. And we'll just have to look at 320 as the next area of support. If not, this is the low. This is where we're going with it, okay? This is where we're going with it. And I think there's a question around this one, if I remember right. Here, possible target if it's a breakout. Well, our ultimate target on this has always been $20. Then that's where we've always had it. So I'm not changing that view. But if you're buying it hoping to get rich, the market will surely rug pull you and you'll lose everything as it drops to 250. So that's how the market is. So you can't buy it thinking about how rich you're going to be. Look at the risk reward. Right now, if you buy it here, you can put your stop at 430, very low risk. But if we break this level, you're likely to go to 320, 280. So is that worth the risk? I don't know. You can decide for yourself. Yes, the upside can be tremendous. MSOX is essentially the same thing, just a different view. I don't like trading this other than buying it. So you buy it when this is in the box. But I tried to draw the chart. Looks like 3 waves here. So you have W, X, and Y. So maybe an A, B, C, or this is A, B, C. So again, we need to hold 593. If you're buying this because I'm going to get rich, the market is surely going to blow you up, because that means everyone else is buying it thinking they're going to get rich, which means too many people are long and you're going to blow up. That's the mentality. You're not the only one that's looking to get rich. And if that's what you're thinking about here, then most market participants are, and the market will rug pull you. That's what it's going to do, guys. So just understand that. If you're worried about losing money and having it melt you down, and if people are scared, then the market will continue higher. So that's where we are. And I just don't know where the sentiment is in this. I don't track this sector, so I don't know where sentiment really is, other than the people who ask me about it, which isn't a good indicator because you guys are more knowledgeable than the average participant. So I don't know what the average day trader, where their head is on this. But if they're talking this up in pump groups on social media, then surely the market's going to rug pull you guys. If they're not paying attention to it, or they're shorting it here, or you're not hearing any chatter about it, then this is going to happen. Okay. Serve is also looking for a continuation higher. We really need to hold this low at 12.37, and we hopefully tomorrow will be a good day for Serve. That's what we're hoping for. There was a question I skipped over. I need to go back. Let me go back and see it. There was VTS, how low can it go? Let's see, VTS, how low can it go? Right there, 2066. At that point, it can bottom at any moment. Okay, that one's pretty straightforward. LPSN open looks solid, and I see a solid breakout coming. Do you feel it went down enough? I don't think it reached the box, but it did nicely. Let me go back to, do I have LP? I must have skipped over it. Must have forgot to add that on here. Let me add that real quick. Open, I must have just missed those two. So let me go back and add those in there. LPSN, okay. Open and LPSN. Open did miss, there was a box that missed it, so it's low, the low's in. So the low's in, we double correct it. Now, the big decision. Are you going to get this, or are you going to get this path? And again, I don't know. I wouldn't, if you buy it here, right? If you buy it here, know that you could get destroyed, but you may not. So I just don't know. Now, if we double from here, well, then we have another box. So if we do break this low, now we have another area we can target, but it's going to be lower. 377, 267. So we'll just hang out. And if our box gets hit there, well, great. If not, maybe we can buy this pullback if you want to speculate against this low. So we'll wait and see where it goes. And then the question, LPSN. We talked about that being the low. And it does. It looks like that cycle's ended, but it's a pretty pathetic bounce. It's a really pathetic bounce with overlapping waves, but it could be hiding accumulation, so it's still early. It looks like something like this to me. Well, sorry, like that. Right? Now we did take that out. That's not good. That's a corrective bounce. That's a corrective bounce. So this is a corrective wave. I would recommend not joining in yet. You really want to see a high with divergence and then a pullback. So I don't know if this is corrective. Well, then of course it will just continue to go lower, and this would turn into more than likely a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, an impulse down. It would change the whole nature of this move. And again, like I always keep mentioning, and the reason I say this is people watch me, may buy these things and not know. Again, we break a lower low. I don't buy lower low stocks, but if you really want to, I think this is dangerous right now, because even though we see 5 swings, we don't see the RSI confirming it. And if this breaks, well, this bounce corrected this whole cycle, so that could be some pretty heavy selling. I don't know what happened to this company. I guess it collapsed. I don't know. I don't follow the fundamental news, but whatever happens here, they need to fire management, because they effed up. I don't know what happened here. It's an epic collapse. So management really effed up, and maybe it goes all the way back to here. on December 24. But whoever's leading this company is not doing a good job. They're not. There's something's broken. I'm not sure I would want to invest in this company, but or trade it. Okay, so we covered those two stocks. I think I covered everyone's questions. Let's go back to where we left off. Okay, we had a few more in this, MSOS and SERV and all that, NKTX. So the 2 could be in here because we have 3 waves, but typically you see it drop to the 4, which is 206. So I would be worried about a double correction, but I can't guarantee it. It's already out. It could be ready for a breakout. So this is our count. I can't rule out a double correction, and you guys can see the bigger view, right? We got this kind of sort of inverse head and shoulders reversal coming out, right? It looks very similar to kind of what we had here, right? But look at how we broke out and it crushed it and then rose, right? So watch for those kind of that kind of tricky move. We watch for a breakout and then a crush, and then so we have to, again, manage your expectations and your patience. But it seems like the trend is now higher. MPW. If this is still a connector, that's the box that's relevant. But this is pretty shallow, and it may be forming a new connector, but it's too early to tell. So I think you need more data. I like to buy it here at 470. If we start to rally any sooner, the 2 is in, but more than likely it will form a connector and fail again. ALTS is kind of at the edge of its limit. It really needs to do something, although technically, as long as it holds this low, it's still a good trade. It's just one of these small stocks that gets pushed around by the market makers. And it just, I think you're just going to have a pretty big risk here if you're trying to play this reward. But it does show 5 waves here. Let's look at the bigger picture right now. This looks like 5 waves down, not 3. So I don't look at it as a lower low. I don't look at it as I see 5 down, not 3. Now, if this was 3 down like here, then I would not trade it. This looks like 5 down, so it looks like it's trying to build a new cycle out, or at least give us 3 swings. So it's either going to give us 3 swings or it is the low, because I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. I don't see 3 in that. And then this one is definitely in the middle area, and I don't recommend trading it, but I do think it goes higher in this Y, and then the big decision comes. Big pump or collapse, and we just don't have enough data to know from our chart, but I think it does go higher. I think this is kind of where we're going. CPRT also looks like here we're heading down in a correction. There's your wave 4. Usually you come back to visit that wave 4 on a big correction, but this also looks like it's due a relief rally. Let's go to the weekly cycle. We're getting close to a point of a relief rally. That rally is likely to fail, and then probably find the low. So probably something like this is what's in store. IT is in a box, crash correction, a beautiful connector, hit the box, finding bids right at the 4. This one looks pretty good for a buy. I don't know what these guys do. Let's see what sector they're in, if it makes any sense to us. The sector, why it would be such a good buy here. So it makes, looks like research, consulting, conferences, subscription services, consultant services. Anytime I read the description, I have no idea what the hell they do. That always is concerning, but I do see 5 waves. And let me just check it out. Yeah, that's 3 is not the shortest. So yeah, I mean, that could be the low in a crash correction. So good luck on that. BMNR was also kind of tough to do this chart, but I think we're in this like triangle where we go higher, something like this. And again, if we're not in a triangle, we'll just go higher from here. I think we're in some kind of pattern because again, we're only moving it. I don't see 5 waves. I see this is typically a corrective, some kind of continuation, and then we get another move. This is typically what we see. We see 5 waves down. So I'm looking for something like this. And the B, I don't recommend trading it until we get better resolution. I wouldn't be surprised this high gets taken out, but I think it could rug pull and then come back down and run this stop in 5 waves. Can it go even higher? It can even go higher. So I think this is what we'll go with. Okay. Now if we continue to break down and break this A, well then obviously we have to put the B here, and then we just label 1, 2, and then we're finishing the correction. Okay. The reason we think it goes lower is we have 5 down. 5 down. Because it's 5 down, it's likely that's not the low. I can't see this being a flat. I don't see any way this could be a flat here, unless I just made up an imaginary account just to make myself feel good. So I think it goes lower at some point. Some point this breaks down and has a C leg. So I'm just giving you my best kind of idea based on the data I'm seeing now. So yeah, maybe with the pump we're getting a little bit in crypto now. You get D, then it pulls back and get another little more upside here, and then it runs and then it collapses, or maybe it morphs into something else and then we come down. So it could do so many things here. I just think because it's 5 down, it's likely whatever happens here to fail and go lower. Okay. So let's see. I think I covered a lot of different questions here. Let me just make sure I cover everyone's question. Thanks again for everybody saying thank you. I do have a few more that popped up since I started. So I always like to go back and circle back and do those. Those I'm not done. Is a rare earth trade deal good or bad? Well, uranium, some of those uranium stocks mine uranium, but they also mine rare earths. So it's mixed. I think it's not going to be like that easy. I think some of those won't do well and some won't be affected. So, like UEC has, I think, rare earths. I think UU has rare earths, right? Not just uranium. So you would think those wouldn't do well. But then again, uranium, the AI trade should be coming back to life tomorrow, right? The risk-on trade should reemerge, right? So that's usually good for the URA in general, Okalo and all that. So I think it's going to be mixed. XRP. Yeah, we haven't looked at XRP since we've been I haven't looked at it in a little bit. Let's take a look at how it's doing. Let's take a look at what we got going on here. It had its little flash crash moment, and so obviously this is a huge low that has to hold. It's kind of crazy how it played out. So we have this WX. And I still think we have Y. We made the higher high. I think it still goes higher. But how does it get there? Now we came up in a massive pump here, right? So it's like, where do you put 1? Do you put 1 there and make that 2? And a 1, 2, 1, 2. Do you put it here and you just don't see the subdivision and that's 3, 4, 5? And we're still in 2 and we flat out and we come all the way back down? Or do we put 2 here? So that's why I haven't really labeled these charts. I think my guess is the good thing is you made a new high. And I see 3 waves, but I still see 3. So it's still not clear, So I can't sit here and give happy talk that everything's going to be okay yet, like in the short term. This could easily do a flat, right? And do an A, B, C, and C could come, maybe back down. Who knows? So I don't think we have enough data, and that's why with crypto I'm like sidelines. Let's let this chart develop more. Let's get more data, and then hopefully we'll have a better idea of where the market is. But I think right now you should be feeling pretty good. You made a lot of separation from that low. Good. A lot of distance from it. And I think, I'll just kind of label it like this for now. And we'll just kind of let it develop. Let's look at this wave here. Did erase divergence. So we'd probably want to put the 1, not as a flat. We probably want to put that 1 here. And then 3-wave move. So I guess we'll know probably in the next 24 hours what's going to happen here. Are we either going to get a breakout in 3, back up to $3, or is it going to collapse? If it collapses, you're obviously in the flat I was talking about. And maybe, you know, just a rough idea of a target. Maybe a flat could be 209, 192, but it could go lower because you have so much white space from where it I guess found the bid on this exchange. So, but because of the higher high, I think no matter what happens here, I have a feeling it's going to be higher. Okay. TMF is bonds, and bonds has been tough. I do think rates is likely to go lower. Okay, guys, in the short term, the 10-year and the 20-year. This is looking impulsive, and that looks like the direction is lower. So that means TMF would go higher. TMF would go higher, but this is counter trend, and at some point, that TMF trade will blow up in your face. It would blow up in your face, okay? So yes, the TMF trade is likely to go higher. Let's take a look at where we are for now on it. Let's just kind of go see where we're at. I haven't looked at it in a while. All right. So looking at this, 5 down. Yeah, I'm just kind of thinking out loud here. So what I'm seeing here is some kind of 5 waves down. And then we're bouncing. So my guess, I don't think we have a lot of upside. Let's look at where we are on the weekly. See, we're still below this peak. We're likely to come out. So we're probably looking at this a little differently now. Probably need to look at this as a 5-wave move down, not a WXY anymore, but an ABC from this peak. We're probably looking at 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then let's see where this. We're gonna have to label it. I'll fix that in a minute because I'm gonna lose track. I'm gonna have to label these subdivisions so I don't lose track of where we are. Let me see here. Yeah, and I'm guessing that 5. We're just gonna have to label that as a 5. And then 1, 2. You know, I'm just trying to see if I can see this, see these subdivisions. I'm just trying to see if I can see this. Get back to the same point. So very interesting. I suspect, now here's the thing. I think we're going to go higher. But this looks like an impulse coming down. Maybe I'm not, maybe the subdivisions are still off. Let me look at this again. Yeah, this is the 3 then. So yeah, I think maybe we'll just call it like an ABC. ABC for 1, 2, ABC for 3, and then 4 ABC. And that's only 3. So you have to put the 4 there, but that won't work either. So yeah, I think trying to label this is going to be tricky. I think for the most part, we have to go back to what we had before. So this is the cycle ends here in a W. So it is WXY still. and we're in some X, and so we have to assume this is a connector wave of some kind. And something like that. That's what we have to assume. And where does C come up to? Maybe it could come up. I don't think it's going to come up that high, but you get the idea. So my guess is it's some kind of connector wave. We have 3, 3, 3, and now we need to come up in 5. So I think the most important thing is we need to trace 5 waves from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, but that would be, we need to go a little bit higher and then come out. And I think that's kind of where we would go with it, and then we would have to wait and see where this ends up. And because the problem is the 10-year, the 20-year, which is what this is really tracking, looks like it needs to go from here down to 366. But when this finishes, don't be surprised if TMF drops 40, 50%. I mean, it's going to drop like huge. So again, you're playing a little bit with fire, but I think you can, stay in it for a while. But then at some point, when this low breaks, eventually all hell will break loose in the bond market. And I'd rather short bonds here than try to guess and play the counter trend. If you're trying to buy bonds here, I think, yeah, maybe there's a little upside for a little bit, but then whenever this ends, it will be a catastrophe because that's what's coming. So I just think you got to be careful, but I do think it goes lower for now. Okay, and you have 3, 3, and now you need your first A, which is you're not done your first A yet. Like we just showed, it's the opposite of what we just showed, right? And then you have A. Right, something like that. So that's what I would be looking for in bond market. And then, so this is where you're like, I want TMF to play that C. That's what you're hoping for. But as you can see, you're not getting really, right now it's kind of jammed up in this consolidation. Then at some point B is finished, and then you get that drop that I think you want, which is TMF pumping. Tilray and CGC. Let's take a look at that. How's Tilray doing? So if MLS bottomed, then obviously Tilray should also find a low soon. It's in our box coming out. So again, we're hoping for more upside, and we'll know, I guess, on Monday if this continues higher. You want this low to hold. I think it's that simple as that. I can't make it any more. It's as simple as that. Now this one is a little different. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe one more low. Here's our box. So CGC is a little different, but at some point it's going to also find the bottom. Something like that. So probably some kind of triangle to finish this up, and then boom, it's done. Yeah, I think CGC is being just accumulated. Why? Because here's my personal view. I'm all over social media. I see all these posts, StockTwit, chat rooms. I subscribe to many other services. I listen to what people say. They all talk about CGC. They all want this, and they all are talking about one day when it breaks out, it's going to be like, I'm going to be rich. That's why it hasn't broken out. The average day trader is fascinated because it's cheap, and it's, for some reason, they see this as the one to get rich on. I mean, I can't tell you why, and that's why it's just jammed up with dumb money. But eventually it will break out, I think, right? I think eventually it will, but it hasn't, because I see this one is being talked about too much in social media. It is, and in fact, I see maybe 3 or 4 more posts about CGC than I see Tilray. But yet Tilray's the more bullish one. I don't understand. That's what's so illogical about the average day trader, the average market participant. I mean, this is the one you obviously want to buy. I mean, it's going up. But yet traders want to buy this one for some reason. And they're fascinated by the middle area. Like, I get, it's so, it blows my mind. But it is what it is. I do think, though, it will come out. I do think it will. I think you're right. I think it's going to come out. It is in a wedge looking thing, right? It's kind of in this little bit of a wedge here. Maybe you can draw it like that. I think it'll come out. It's going to come out. But right now there's just too much dumb money in it. Too much too much dumb money in this. Because they're all dreaming about getting rich. And the market is not going to let them get rich. And they're just but it looks like accumulation, right? Testing traders' patience. But at some point, you'll wake up one day and it will be here and you won't know why. And that's how it will probably go down. Right? So I think it's okay, though. I don't think this is going to be an outlier where this will collapse. But I mean, I guess anything's possible. So, I mean, I can't guarantee that, but I just don't think it's likely. So we'll just go with this for now. But I do see CGC as there's more buzz on social media and fascination with it for some reason. And chat rooms and services that I subscribe to, people ask about it a lot. And I'm like, well, again, why do they ask about the stock? I don't know. AMD is extending the fifth wave. Now, this is a good lesson in why you never top tick a fifth wave. Because that could have been 5 on Thursday right there, right? And it's extended. And guess what? It could just keep extending. So good luck trying to time the market, right, on wave 5s. This is where Elliott wave theory on its own fails and traders lose all their money. So you have to use the system of buying pullbacks in 3 waves or shorting after a lower low in a 3-wave bounce. But it looks like a 5th wave still. Let's just check. It looks like to me in 3 of 5, so more upside. I would still expect more upside. Maybe I can get to 270 now. Okay, Snow. How's this software name doing? Well, we're getting close to our danger area that I had. We do have a lower low. Okay, I do think this is going to rug pull. Where is the sell area that could emerge? It could be right about almost there, 265. This is kind of where I had the X. So this is a very dangerous area to be long, especially here. And, I'm not saying to short it, but if you guys want to, I would, I hate shorting into earnings or going long into earnings without some margin of safety. So let's say you short it here and you get a sell-off and you go into earnings. Let's say you short there, you get a sell-off, okay? Right, and you're going into earnings here. Well, then you have a little bit of buffer. Then, okay, I'll hold through earnings. My short. If I'm in here in the earnings, I won't take that chance because if I'm wrong, I'm probably going to get blown up if I'm wrong. But of course, if I'm right, it collapses. So it's like two binary. So I'd rather just let the market react and then kind of go from there. But if I can sell and get a little cushion going into earnings later in the month, then yeah, maybe I will hold that open. But you do have a lower low. And you have a massive divergence. So this should be coming to an end soon. And then the next leg lower. Based on my system, but I can be wrong, so do what's best for you. Amazon's been jammed up in this kind of connector. This is another one that was really being pumped on the internet at the neckline here, where I have all these arrows. There was so much internet chatter about a huge breakout, and they destroy their own setup unless they're trying to trap people. So we had this big cup and handle, and then of course everyone in the world saw it, went long at the worst possible moment, and now the market's blowing them up. I still think it goes lower. It's hard to say exactly how this count will develop. It could develop just like I have it here into this buy area. The other possibility is we're still in wave 2, or even potentially still in a B. So it's a lot of there's too many possible paths. This is a chop zone, and I'd rather just chop, and then we get the drop, and then we can come in and buy it. Or we wait for B to be taken out and then get real aggressive and maybe just market buy that. And there are some occasions I'll do that. And there it is. So that's where it is. So I think it's got more downside. Okay. TCHP. TCHP is the big cap tech index, blue chip growth fund. A couple things we note here. It looks like we have 5 beautiful waves up, and it looks like we have another 5 here, but no divergence, so it's still corrective. It could rug pull at any moment. Boom, down. If not, we would extend wave 5 and we continue higher. I think at some point we're back testing $44. I don't know when that will happen, but I know I have a strong feeling at some point, maybe now, maybe a little later, we're going to back test this level. And now the perma bear would say, and I was looking at this, and again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my gosh, it's over the whole cycle, and we're going to come back down to 28. Market crash. Does this support that? I mean, if you look, there's your peak. Your peak is in 3. You do have a higher low here. You do have bull bearish divergence. Here, it's not enough data to do the daily, and then here you have a little bit. So, can I go with that count? Should I label it that way? It's very tough, right? So I think, I want to label it the way I have it right now. I want to label it the way I have it, where you have 1 cycle, 2 cycles here. Let me see here how I have it here. Go back to the monthly here. Yeah, see, this just did not break this high. So yeah, I think this will line us up with the grand super cycle. I think again, I'm trying to keep an open mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5 here. And then we peak in 3, but then we correct the whole thing. So that's why I labeled it the way I did. Because there's no other count that works. There's no other count that works for me. Yeah, so I think I just have to keep it labeled the way I have it. Right? I have to keep it labeled the way I have it. So we'll just keep it, because there's no other, yes, I could force 3 here. It does look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but the RSI doesn't really support that. So I'm not going to force it. Just because if I had a bearish bias, I would force it. But I'm just going to label what we see in front of us. Okay, we're going to keep our biases and personal beliefs out of it. So I think at some point this cycle will end here. We'll have a big pullback, and then we should continue higher. And then this will finish, and then the grand super cycle should end, right? This also supports the market should continue higher after the sell-off that we're about to get. That's what this chart tells you, right? Big cap tech isn't finished up going higher. But it doesn't say there is still a big pullback coming. It just says we have more upside, right? In this, whatever this ETF represents. So that's kind of where I'm thinking. I don't think this is a 5th wave. I just don't think it is, because I just can't get there. Right? I still can't. I just can't get there. So based on what I see here. Then what? Then we'd have to force that as 5. Let's just say if I force that as 5. See, you made a lower low here. You can't. That low. So you just can't. It's the only count that works for me right now. Okay. But I do think a big sell-off is coming to correct the April cycle, obviously, across the market. I've been saying that. And hopefully we'll find some support right there. That's what we're looking for. And a 1, 2, 1, 2. And then we finish up. And then a massive crash. And you better get rid of this thing and go into something else. That's what I think. Okay. CPRT. I think we looked at this one already, or somebody did. I don't know if I remember, but we looked at this already, and the reason I think we go lower is we come back to the 4. So this would be very unusual to only be done here, but I think we get a rally. Could this rally be the bottom? It's possible, but it may not be. It's likely not. It likely will fail and come lower. Okay. I don't know our Rigetti's chart. I don't know about slammed. I don't really care. I think they all are eventually going to get slams. All these, quantums and uraniums that have no profit. They may be years before they ever get back to these highs, if ever. So enjoy the pumps while you have them. But I don't know. I don't know the chart. I don't know the chart. All right, I think I came to everyone's questions here, guys, at the end. So I'm not predicting some cataclysmic, crash. Not yet. Am I predicting a sell-off? Yeah, I'm predicting a sell-off. Right? I'm saying, and it's not because I just feel like it or the market deserves it or I hate Donald Trump and I hate Jerome Powell and they just, and I'm so bearish and negative and all this. No, it's just I just look at the weekly oscillator and the weekly cycle's over. Okay? I mean, it's already ended. It's just the market has no business being at all-time highs. You have a hidden bearish divergence in the market. I mean, I can't make this any clearer. I mean, it's sitting right in front of your eyes. The last time I've seen something like this on the charts is before the Great Depression crash. But it was the monthly cycle did this. The monthly, not the weekly, is probably a baby version of that. So monthly was the Great Depression crash, people jumping off of roofs and all that shit, and banks collapsing. This will be not that. It'd be pretty bad. People will probably think it's going to be that. That's why I think this will be very rapid, fast, and horrific. And people will feel, and it would be probably very scary to buy. And then I think we can continue higher. And then when we're up here, then who knows, right? Who knows how this ends? Straight down, sideways for years, who knows? But I do think we have a sell-off, I do believe, still on the horizon. I wish I could tell you when the day and time will happen. It's just tough to time this thing. So I think it's just better to be patient and then look for the buying opportunities that emerge when we sell off. Okay? And that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. That's what I'm thinking. And then there is, as we get going, like I said, there is a small possibility, that's not zero, that we are at the end of the grand super cycle, and I'm wrong. And 5 is done. And if it is, everyone that does come in to buy this dip, it will fail. And it will probably fail and will probably gap down below the April lows. And that will be the jumping off buildings and everything else. And the leverage will be just, you saw how crypto deleveraged like in 24 hours and everyone got blown. Can you imagine the equity market having to deleverage, the dark pools, everybody that's levered up, just like all the triple bulls, and now there's quadruple, and I heard there's even a 5-time bull funds coming out now. Those will all collapse, guys. Those will all be gone. It would be a terrifying day in the market. when the day that grand super cycle ends. It's not going to be like, oh, we'll have time to just get out. You won't have time. So when you just be careful. So if you're going to buy this dip here, just be careful, manage the risk. And but yeah, I mean, you might as well put some money to work. I mean, I made so much money in this gain. Might as well use some of the money here and buy the dip and see what happens, right? Why not? Of course, I may lose it. Okay. But hey, I lost some of the profits off of that. No big deal, you know. But I put in my whole stack of chips here, levered up. Hell no. Right? Again, and think of the bigger picture. The bigger picture, okay? The bigger picture. You're at the end of the parabola, right? You're not at the beginning. You're at the point of maximum financial risk, not opportunity, right? So you're at the end of cycle type stuff. And I know it's not fair, but it is what it is. And just think of the opportunities that will be present for you to buy if you can preserve your capital. Think like Warren Buffett. Think like those smart fundamental investors, right? They didn't get to become hundreds of billions of dollars in net worth by doing things stupid. There's a reason he's in a lot of cash right now. It's not because he's dumb, right? He's waiting for better conditions. And he'll wait years, but he knows the market will eventually pull that, right? Now, you may not want to wait years, but I think it's probably a smart idea to be a little more patient and raise cash and be more, be more defensive. Start to think about how this is going to come to an end soon, because it is. We are coming to an end. It is coming, but I think we should find support, but then. Yeah, towards maybe 27 into 26, 27, I think is at the top. And then Trump will be leaving, the new administration, we'll get a good feel for who's coming into the office, who's leading in the polls, that type of thing. What's the temperature of the country? Is it going liberal? Is it going more ultra MAGA? We'll have an idea, and I think the market will start to position for that future in this area. And then that's that. All right, guys, good night. Thanks again. I appreciate it, man. I really hope everything works out this week for everybody. And, like I said, my members get updates every day, and I try to give you guys some good setups. We don't get them always all right all the time, but when we do get them right, man, they're big. They tend to be pretty big gainers. All right, guys, that's all I've got. Good luck.